faced off against. Wait, I have to do the player cards first.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about them with just the floaty guy.
Yeah, and I gotta share my window with you as well.
Yes, but here are their player cards. As we can see, Exuno having a 53% win rate, and yeah, as I thought, Palidian has been in the community for a while. Joined MT3, and has just been here for a very good time. And Exuno joined in MT6, so you mean these two have both been standing members of the community. So to see them go against each other is just a fun matchup. Now we can see what they've played.
Now we can see what they've played. I have to pull it up and then I have to flip the card. Would you? Oh, I thought it flipped the card for some reason. I didn't realize it just drops it down.
No, it flips the card if we're having a double.
Okay.
So like it flips and switches. But yeah, Exuno, who played, oh gosh, is that Arius? A3 us?
Yeah,
I don't know. Arius played Grid Blocked. That sounds like a block pushing game. Oh no, wait, no, that's the Rush Hour style game where you had to push blocks and stuff to get to a certain exit, which, mind-bending stuff. And then lost to Maurice in Soul Mirror, which was that kind of flashy-looking gravity style game where you would bounce. You had two characters and they would switch gravity. It was really fun. Palidian lost to Mundungu in Disruptor, which is one of the very few first-person shooters that are on the PS1, and then beat Kitty Cat in Hellevator, which is one of those Steam demo games. I think it's a free game, or maybe it was just the demo. That was kind of like a platformer, but kind of like on the darker side, since obviously dealing with hell. So, a lot of different genres that they've played.
What, you mean Hellevator isn't a game about, like, sugar sweets?
Not that I am aware of. But yeah, first-person shooter, kind of puzzle platformer, straight-up puzzle, and then, I guess, another platformer. But it's still, like, sometimes we only see just puzzles or just platformers. So it's interesting to see the variety in some of these matches that they've played so far.
Yeah, and speaking of the variety in another match, what we've got coming up for you is a game called Read. Oh, it's a redraw. Another redraw.
Yeah, so the issue with both Exuno and Palidian being in the community for a while is that they've seen and played their fair share of games. Exuno, being a previous MT runner and tester, has tested a lot of games in the pool, and Palidian, just being here for a while and having very strong showings, has seen a lot and played a lot of games. That's when you're supposed to fill the air, when I need to take a break of talking and sipping water.
I just want to Dude, I got stuff to do over here. I got buttons to press. I got things to eat. I was in bed until 3 seconds ago, and then I jumped up and did this streaming, so I can't be bothered to care, and you leave me and my little Debbies alone.
It's okay, Roar. I'll continue to fill the air. Chat can't hear us right now.
Chat. What are you talking about? Chat can hear us right now.
It's okay. They're not paying attention.
Wait,
they're looking at the water.
You can't just say they can't hear us right now. Now I'm freaking out with my audio settings. And there's audio settings that I see is Marco yellow, but now I gotta pull out my headphones in order to make sure that everything's working. Why would you do that? You pull up and
Oh, we got Crazy Frog here, so we're probably playing Crazy Frog Racer. Probably not. That game wouldn't get accepted in the pool. But yeah, so chat, I mean, we've gotten pretty much halfway through the tournament, and this question's probably been asked before. What are some of the favorite games you've seen, or some of your favorite races, or just GDQ is happening right now? Any races you're excited to see there, or any races that you've seen happen?
Can I just talk about a speedrun that I watched?
Yeah, go right ahead, Roar.
The Worms Reloaded race, or the Worms Reloaded speedrun was kind of fun. As a Worms fan, I do think I quite love the setups that they did to just like knock 5 dudes in the water at the same time. Also, they had 2 very incredible glitch names. One of them was called Sheepnosis, which is if you're ever on a rope or a jetpack, when you fire the sheep and immediately detonate it, it stores the rope state, which is power 0 for the next opponent. So the next opponent fires at 0 power their next shot. So if they're firing a bazooka, they'll just immediately blow themselves up.
Oh, is that like a programming thing that just like carries over? That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's their best bet as to why it happens, is that it stores the state. So I love the name Sheepnosis. You're doing hypnosis with a sheep. And their other glitch was called Spice Girls glitch. Because you'd knock the one worm into the same hitbox as the other worm, opponent worm, and for some reason, if both worms are in the same hitbox, they'll just immediately skip their turn, and they called it the Spice Girls glitch because tonight is the night when 2 become 1.
All right, stop right now. Thank you very much.
I need somebody with a human touch.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's the Spice Girls. Spice Girls was actually one of my first CDs I ever owned. Great album. Don't believe the haters. Spice Girls was a good group.
As I've been watching more and more British TV lately, I'm starting to learn that they're basically the biggest band to ever make their way into the UK. Everybody knows Spice Girls practically a national
they're the biggest one? I feel like there might be another group that might be a little bit bigger.
No. Nope. Yep. Nope. They were
Definitely
bigger
no?
than... Nope, definitely no. We care more about them in the United States than there.
Oh, so the UK just doesn't care about the Beatles?
Probably. Probably not, I mean.
I never watched the movie yesterday. If you don't know the context of that joke that Pwn Noob is making, yesterday was the movie where a guy wakes up in a world, I guess essentially Isekai'd, if we're going nerd speak, into a world where the Beatles never existed.
I guess if we're going nerd speak, then I'm supposed to tell you that it's isekai because equals E in Japanese.
Yeah, but I'm American, so I get to pronounce it wrong and say it's right.
Yeah, but you're the one that said we were going into nerd realm, so I went nerd realm. I went actually your ass.
Yeah, and I'm nerd realming back and saying that I can't be wrong.
Oof.
But
oh, fuck. That's an argument.
Ooh, what are you gonna do?
I'm going to flip these racer cards back. I'm gonna be like, click, boom.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's see those cards again. Cards are a little bit prettier.
You got a ghost. You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get my ottoman because I moved it yesterday and I forgot to move it back.
I'm assuming we're still in redraw heck.
We actually have a potential not redraw.
Ooh, nice. It does take some time with 2 very experienced and veteran players like Exuno and Palidian. But yeah, if you're just joining us, we are just waiting in possibly getting a game for these 2 players. It does take some time because they have played a lot of games and have been in the tournament for many, many iterations. So sometimes finding a game takes a bit of time. And both of these players also just want to play a game that they haven't seen before because it's not as fun.
All right, what did I miss Shambles talking about this time that I need to fill the air for before I get yelled at again?
Oh no, I'm filling the air because I've learned.
You whispered out.
Oh, okay, Roar. We're still talking about the players, and I'm trying to think of more things and tidbits to talk about them. Don't worry, chat can't hear this. They're definitely not listening to this.
Okay, well then I could share stuff about the players. Exuno is a good friend of ours, and Palidian is responsible for. Nope, not going to say that. We've got our game. As I move on to writing it all down, we may have it going. Oh baby, I'm ill-prepared.
Ill-prepared means that I'm probably expecting to see a puzzle game of some sort, maybe a Steam puzzle game or an itch puzzle game.
No, I can say that you were wrong.
Oh, cool.
Keep it guessing.
It could be another weird console that we don't see very often.
Nope,
Perhaps...
not that too.
Oh, so a common console. Okay. Potentially a racing game?
We're moving closer because...
Yeah,
wait,
I'm
this
just
Mystery
seeing...
Funhouse, everything's a racing game.
But, like, possibly you're driving a vehicle of some sort?
Okay. Wait, is not Mystery Funhouse a vehicle for our most controversial opinions?
I mean, what? No, not going to ask that question. Because that's a dangerous question.
I've got
tomatoes. I could live without them. That's an opinion.
I'm trying to think of a controversial opinion that won't get me removed from the air.
Like salsa? We've got avocados.
Fuck right off on that one. Now you're
tomato
wrong.
sauce? We can just use Alfredo.
I was fine without the, I mean, I won't deny a good white sauce, but okay, I hate sweet potatoes. I can't stand them. I think that they are God's punishment to mankind.
I mean, that's certainly an opinion. You know, what is a cucumber? But just a baby pickle.
A pickle who is yet to reach its greatness.
I do think I like cucumbers more than pickles.
My problem with cucumbers is they're always cold, and I can't deal with cold because I can't deal with cold. My teeth
I
suck.
always like to freak people out by just whipping out a cucumber and then just eating it whole in front of people. Because people are really weirded out when you just eat a cucumber.
Are they cats?
No. I did it at a theater rehearsal once where I had, like, a little sandwich and then a full cucumber. I got to the cucumber. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm eating a cucumber. It's like, that's weird.
Why is that? I don't understand your people.
Theater people are strange, man.
I mean, how can you literally be like, this is weird when the Iron Chef takes a bite out of a fucking onion?
Well, have you ever had an onion raw?
No, yes, kind of.
I've bitten into an onion raw before. Can't say I'll ever do it again.
Yeah, it's kind of miserable. But my point is that the greatest showboaty chef in all time is eats way weirder thing.
Okay. Is the Iron Chef really the most showboaty chef?
He's got the most you know what? Even defeating Gordon Ramsay, I think that when the Iron Chef is revealed and comes out and he takes a freaking bite, like
I wasn't gonna say Gordon Ramsay. No way.
But he's definitely got the most presence there.
He has a lot of presence, but like, I don't think he's showboating.
That's true. I guess presence and showboating, it's much more like intimidation and stuff. You thought it was a bell pepper. It was originally an onion or it was an onion at one point, I think. Because it was originally, it was a bell pepper at a time. I think American Iron Chef came out and took a bite of an apple because he's a fucking wuss.
Depends on the apple, though.
Not
like,
Granny
I wouldn't
Smith.
want to bite some apples. Like, some apples ain't worth biting. Like, Red Delicious, get out of here. You're too mushy.
the hell is wrong with you?
There are better apples than a Red Delicious.
There are. They're called Fiji, but still, a Red Delicious is just fine to bite into.
And I have a list of other apples I'd bite into first.
I have a list of other apples that I'd bite into first, all right? There is the Fiji. There's the Moto GP, or Moto Racer for the PlayStation.
Oh, a wonderful apple.
I also know to take a bite of this apple, Mr. Corporate Events, and take a walk through the shanty of cardboard take a walk through the jungle of cardboard shanties and tents.
All right, so we have Moto Racer for the PS1. This is a goal of beat all tracks. Looks like we still have the old pace bin pinned here from the last race. So I'm just going to get rid of... or no, it's still on my screen for some reason. But yeah, I'd love to see that paste bin.
Look at this. I get to copy this. I get to go there. I get to click there. I get to click there. I get to click here. I get to click here. I get to click here. And I go boom. And then because I'm a moderator, I go boom.
All right. So beat all 10 practice. 10 tracks in practice. So this is going to be a very close race. Just since there isn't really going to be a fail state, since they're just completing tracks, they don't have to worry about opponents. I'm just assuming based off of this goal, because I've seen a lot of racing games where we're actually beating Grand Prix, but you need to get points. But this is just a completion of tracks. And with that being the case, we're going to see probably times within 20 or 30 seconds of each other if both these players are playing as efficiently as possible in their tracks.
Yeah, this is my one complaint about most racing games in terms of Mystery Prepper is that due to the nature of randomness in opponents sometimes and how things move, we often do time trials sort of situations, or rarely do we have to race against a computer and defeat them, which does lead to some pretty close times. Not to say that they don't deserve their place here. They absolutely do, but like it does get to some ridiculously close stuff.
Yeah, so I'm just taking a look at this pace spin. So we have an interesting setup. So they do need to use a cheat code to unlock all the tracks. They are specifically doing 4 laps. And there is a specific order too. Oh, actually, no, it's not 4 laps. Some of the tracks have different laps. So that's very interesting.
Let's force some aspect ratio upon these scrub lords.
Oh, so it's a default. So we're just picking the default amount of laps per track.
Select your mode. Yeah, this will also come down to menuing is a very important thing. We've seen some menuing cost a lot of players, a lot of time, and a lot of racers. Exuno is saying, can't get the unlock to work.
Yeah, so there is a provided cheat code. Up, up, left, right, down, down, circle, R2, triangle, X.
Moto Racer Gold. Beat all 10 tracks in practice. Easy. Default life. Default laps. Default bike. Starting point. Auto or manual selection after picking speed bay. Start ending point. Finish slow ride's last lap. At the title screen, press up, up, left, right, down, down, circle, R2, triangle, X. The title screen will reload when successful. Snow ride should be in stage select. Then select start. 1 player easy. Practice. Speed bay. 4 laps. Don't mess with the lap count. Okay, all-around bike. Wait on gearbox selection. Once you've beaten the final lap of a track, you can either press start and quit race faster, or wait for continue race to prompt and choose no. Press right on the track select for next track. D-pad to steer, X to accelerate, square to brake, L2 and R2 on the ground to turbo, in air stunts. triangle, back view, circle, change view, L1, R1, gear down, gear up. If both you and your opponent want manual, go ahead. Otherwise, pick auto. Tracks, Speedway, 4 laps. Dirt Arena, 2 laps. Rock Forest, 4 laps. Great Wall, 3 laps. Westway, 4 laps. Lost Ruins, 2 laps. Fun Fair, 3 laps. Seat of Land, 3 laps. Red City, 3 laps. Snow Ride, 2 laps. Dramatic.
And that is the pay spin. Hopefully you kept all that information in your system. Because I'm just trying to see if Exuno is getting any luck with this password to work.
That's not a very comfort one.
Yeah, I can see Exuno's got on his emulator settings the inputs display. So I'm just seeing if there's a potential that Exuno may have accidentally bound like one of his buttons to a different button or something along those lines, which is making the password not work.
Okay, you got the button, but
Up, up, left, right, down, down, circle, R2.
Select your mode. Select your race.
did we do it? No, we didn't.
No, it does not.
Exuno's entering that code really slowly. I know they said that you don't have to enter it too fast, but that's really slow.
Now, there might be a secret solution.
What, are you going to suggest that Palidian export his memory card and then Exuno import it?
Even easier if they are playing off of the same
You're going to
BizHawk.
suggest that Palidian saves states and passes it over to Exuno?
Yeah, that's that would be my suggestion.
What a crazy suggestion!
It's probably already made, but
It's not.
otherwise, I think save files actually do carry over between BizHawks. So if they're not playing on the same BizHawk release, which, fun fact, anybody who is playing the tournament for the first time, the reason why we have an emulator pack is that some of the games specifically use that emulator for specific things. So it is good to have that pack downloaded in case you get a race that involves using some of those specific files. And helps make sure that everybody is playing on the same field. Because if there is an emulator issue on your end that isn't from the pack that we provided, it's really going to be harder for us to troubleshoot the issues. But I'm going to step away for a moment.
No problem.
I'll be back shortly.
Make your choice.
We're staring dramatically at this, and then everything freezes for a moment.
Make your choice.
Make your choice.
choice.
Alright, I am back. What has burned down since I've been gone? Everything.
Trying to figure out. Okay, hitting circle. Okay. It looked like it was saying Q on Exuno's screen.
I think it is.
Now, this Q and circle are very hard to tell. Ba 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 ba.
Dissy. What's the DSI game?
Unfortunately, that save state doesn't work, Palidian, unless Exuno is using the same BizHack. And Exuno gets it with a reset.
There we go. We've got a race, friends.
The password race was exciting, but that's not the only race we're getting today. We're getting two races. Race to the password race to play the game.
Oh, so it looks like this is the first time Moto Racer has been raced, so
Oh my.
can't even look to see if we have past playtime, so
Select your mode.
it'll be very interesting to see how long it will take to do 10 tracks.
Let me
My
see.
guess it's going to take 3 minutes for each one, maybe a little longer or less. But that's my general rule with like a racing game. That most tracks tend to be 3 minutes on average.
That's a fair assumption. I was gonna start making my guesstimates here, but that's a fair assumption.
So I will assume that we'll see finishes between the 35 to 40 minute mark. But it will be interesting to see, since this is a motorcycle racing game, which, if I can just assume, it's not going to have the same kind of physics as a go-kart or just a regular car that we typically see in racing games.
Now, my question is going to be, we have the ability to trick out in air. Do you think that those tricks are going to convert to speed boosts?
It is worth trying out, since there's no harm in doing one or two just to see what it will do. It is on the same kind of button as Turbo, which does make me think that in conjunction with it being the same button, that it might give you a speed boost. Especially when you land the trick. I think that's probably where it's going to be. You need to land the trick nicely in order to get the speed boost.
Well, we are off. Here we go. Moto Racer.
All right, and so both of our players have selected auto, so they do not have to worry about shifting gears.
I love how
But this is a PS1 game, so there is going to be interesting load times.
Yo. All right, here goes Exuno versus Palidian. And we're off. We are moto racing, and immediately Palidian cannot drive. Is pressing the change view button, but is not pressing the accelerate button.
Has Exuno crashed? Yes, Exuno has crashed. Not the game, but the motorcycle. But okay, there is that is on really unfortunate start. And Palidian can't seem to move. My guess is that Palidian has probably hit the analog button and is hoping to be able to control his motorcycle with the analog stick versus the D-pad.
Oh dear. So this is definitely going to be a control issue for Palidian. He needs to figure out the control binding and then figure that out. I'm ready on the dot time for when the restart happens, so that we can do the retime real quick. Like meanwhile, Exuno getting better controlling here. There's a turbo is doing a wheelie, it seems.
Yeah, and it seems like you can't turn, which makes sense. You wouldn't want to turn while doing a wheelie. So this is going to be a game about managing these turbos. There is, though, a potential for a timeout, since you do have a set amount of time to get to each checkpoint.
Yeah, that is...
So that does make this a little bit more interesting in terms of a race.
That pisses me off! I'm sorry, game. I get it. It's fun to go fast and ride on one wheel and all that fun stuff, but you know what? Screw you, okay? Because doing a wheelie increases drag and reduces the amount of torque that you've got applied to the road.
It's okay, Roar. The game can't hurt you.
Then again, actually, wait, I assumed that it was actually a little bit of a wheelie would help because it's a back wheel drive, probably.
Yeah, this is very weird that Palidian was able to... I'm just assuming that he pushed the analog button. Because he's still able to move in menus.
Palidian's saying every button is camera change.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
What is going on here?
Well, I guess the time doesn't matter, because I'm just seeing it's blinking 0. Oh, there we go. There's some controls. And is picked to restart?
And apparently now it works, but now it doesn't work.
I think Palidian has his analog button set to something. I guess it's working now.
I guess it's working now.
Okay, this is going to be a very interesting retime.
And immediately Palidian is out the gate, ready to hit those turbos, jam on those turbos, doing throttling them, where Exuno clears the track now.
Yeah, it looked like I couldn't see the full time, because that would be a nice indicator of how long of a retime Palidian has and how we can judge how, fast or slow they are comparatively.
I did a dot time when Palidian hit the restart.
Oh, I was talking about like Exuno's in-game time as a comparison for tracking their progress between each other.
Gotcha.
Because it's going to be hard to say who's going to be in the lead without knowing how long. And unfortunately, the laps don't give you a total time, or if they did, I wasn't able to see it on Exuno's screen.
I gotcha. All right, so we're able to turbo whenever we want. Then the question is still going to be: does tricking do anything of use?
Well, we weren't able to see it in the first race, but we're definitely in a dirt track now to see if tricking is going to happen. And I can't tell if Exuno... There's a trick from Exuno. I can't tell if it's actually giving him a boost or not.
Palidian is skating off. I think Palidian's having a lot of trouble controlling this. I don't know if there was tilting from the control issues is now causing tilting on the motorcycle, or if the Palidian's just having trouble getting to grips with how to manage all of this.
Yeah, Exuno has been crashing a little bit less. I think did have a bunch of crashes in that first race, that first track, but does seem to have a little bit more of consistency. And it's also interesting to see if this dirt path has a little bit more of like a friction or inertia tied to it versus just the regular asphalt that Palidian is currently on.
Well, let's see how we've got when Palidian makes it to this. We'll track Exuno's first lap and see how well Palidian does in direct comparison here. We've got
it's about a minute 30 or a minute something.
I was looking at the best lap time, hoping that Exuno would clear the best lap. I don't know why I thought that, and then now it just ruined everything.
Yeah, I think it was between a minute 30 and a minute 40. Yeah, Exuno isn't going as fast because this track is very much hills and valleys, and there isn't as many straightaways as there are in the first track. Like, Palidian is going very fast.
It also seems to take into account that this is a dirt road and not a concrete.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the traction is not as great. And Palidian has decided to opt into first-person view, and boy, is that not a view you want to be in when you crash.
Oh, it's not a view you want to be in when you're turboing. You're just looking at the sky.
Yeah, like I understand first-person view in other racing games because you do get to see a little bit more of the screen, of the track.
Unless you're playing Cyberpunk, in which case you get a very detailed view of the wheel.
All right, so there is the completion of the first track from Palidian.
And here comes Exuno mopping up stage 2 in just a moment here.
Yeah, so Exuno has been finishing this with about another minute, so a minute 29. So we'll see if Palidian matches that time or falls above or below.
That was 2 minutes for that second race, for that second lap.
No, that was a minute 30 again. Or no, that was another minute 30 again.
Did you look at the best lap on the right-hand side or the?
No, I was looking at the left.
Select your rate.
Are you fact checking this?
Nope.
Sounds like you're fact checking this.
Nope.
I think you saw the number 2 after 1 out of 2 and just assumed.
I totally did, in fact, see the number 2 from lap 1 out of 2 and saw 2 minutes in my head and was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, and there's Palidian taking a very early tumble here on the dirt track. So I think there is a traction thing. So it is probably a little bit harder to control on this dirt path. He is trying a bit of tricks. So on Exuno, on the third track, back to concrete, but these seem to be very skinny roads. So I do expect to see a little bit more crashes, unless they've gotten a better handle on the game. Traction on this course does seem a little bit easier. So turning, and can you drift on a motorcycle?
You should be. I think so. I'm pretty sure you can do donuts and drifts and stuff. Yeah, you gotta be able to drift on a motorcycle, right?
I would hope, because I'm not sure how to do some of these turns very quickly then if you can't.
I felt confident in saying yes, and then for some reason I felt unconfident in saying yes.
It's okay, Roar. We don't always need to know the answers to every question that's asked.
I have the entire of the internet on my hand. Yes, but you don't countersteer a skating bike like you countersteer a driven car.
Okay, so looking at Palidian's time for this lap, it is going to be near about 1:30. So it is maybe a little slower than Exuno's pace. So I'm going to check this second lap. And it does match around 129. Palidian is probably doing a little bit better. Or if not, probably doing a little worse. All right. Some girl in chat is saying that it was about 7 seconds over Exuno's lap. So, assuming over as in lost, using your words and understanding them correctly, is behind. But like again, I can't be certain that Palidian's times were better on that first track.
I definitely think that the first track they were worse. I'm fairly convinced they are, because that was a lot of crashes. Its game does seem to do a pretty good job of taking into account traction on the roads. We've seen many PlayStation racing games that doesn't do that very well. So I'm kind of impressed that like once you hit that grass, you're starting to see the speedometer go down immediately, and starting to see a little bit more skidding. And all right, here we go.
Yeah, now just looking at this, Palidian is doing these tracks a little worse than Exuno, because he had a 129 and now that's a 135, so a little bit slower. But yeah, man, these load times are rough.
No kidding. And it's BizHawk, so they try to emulate the load times. So that's always... the good news is that we're at least not dealing with PC differences here.
Very true. So Palidian entering the third track. Assuming that Palidian is behind by a little bit. And Exuno still loading this track. That is god awful. There we go.
This looks like a very sad tomahawk. Oh! That's a pretty bad crash. And what do we got up there? We got little dragon balloons. Oh, that's a Great Wall.
Yeah, this is a Great Wall of China track.
Except that the Great Wall doesn't circle like that, and if it did...
Yeah, no, it's not biblically accurate.
The much smaller Wall of China. Yeah, you can see it from space if you have a telescope.
But yeah, this is very interesting since it has the hills and like the dirt track, but it is, I would assume, the same kind of floor as the regular race, like the one that Palidian is on, like asphalt.
Well, even in fifth gear, we're not getting... I wonder if that's because of the lumps and the jumps, yeah, now that you're mentioning it.
Yeah, these, like, hills and... The hills and bounds do tend to, like, eat your speed.
The Great Wall of the Vatican.
Yeah, Palidian... I haven't seen Palidian crash too much on this course. So is... Oh, and as I said that, immediately crashes.
You know how much power you wield, and yet you continue to use it for evil.
But, like, I have to say words.
And yet you use your powers for evil. Finish! Except that we still got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, so still a little bit more to go. Immediately crashing. Yeah, the turning... like... When you're hitting those high speeds, turning does seem to be a bit of an issue.
I don't know how Exuno didn't bail there. Wow. Yeah, the game, remember how we asked whether or not it's going to be a lot harder with physics being a motorcycle? You definitely are prone to crashing a lot more on this. And
yeah,
getting launched off your bike.
As I said, yeah, they're definitely used to playing more kart racers or car racing games. So it'll be interesting to see if we get to talk to them at the end of this race, what their experience is in a motorcycle racing game.
Because in a kart racer, hitting up against that wall and riding it a little bit is not the worst thing to happen to you.
No, sometimes it helps you get your turning right. It depends on how much speed you lose, but you hit a wall in this game, your speed is gone. Or you crash, which is even worse.
Yeah. All right,
so
Exuno making through the Great Wall.
is moving on to West Way.
But it's a circle. How do they go west if it's oh, it's on the North Pole, so you're always going west.
What?
If the race was on the North Pole and it went west, you could have a race that always went west and circle.
Oh, okay. I see where this logic is going. It is kind of insulting that every time you finish a race and you quit, it just launches the game over screen at you.
Yeah.
A little demoralizing.
You remember back in the era of games when you used to finish them and they said game over, and it's like, No,
I'm still like glad that we got over that era of gaming that was just like insulting you the entire time you were playing.
Yeah, after Portal came out, there were so many Portal likes.
Yeah, so it looks like this is more of a kind of Grand Canyon-esque course. And Exuno is doing a very good job of kind of bobbing and weaving through these turns and maintaining his speed for the most part, with a few hiccups every now and then.
I think one thing to notice also is how controlled Exuno is using turbo. You can see a few short bursts there in the middle of a longer turn to maintain it. See there, we have 2 double tap bursts right there.
Yeah, very, very measured boosting. Since, as we've seen, when you crash, there is a long animation of you just seeing your just lifeless corpse before eventually you get to teleport back to your motorcycle as if nothing happened.
That's how auto accidents work IRL. Isn't it? Please tell me. Oh God. All the people.
Well, existential crisis aside, Palidian's corpse on the screen, back on the motorcycle, still has 2 more laps of the irregular wall of Mongolia.
That bothers me on more levels than it should. Why?
What, the regular wall?
The Great Wall of China blocks off Mongolia.
Yeah, that's why this is the regular wall of Mongolia. All right, Exuno, 1 more lap to go on Westway. Still 5 more tracks left to go.
Yeah, it looks like the retime is approximately 3:35 or so. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bust out my line. I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna time the difference as soon as Exuno hits the track end. This would not surprise me if it runs at 60 FPS. It does look pretty smooth for a PlayStation game.
No, I mean, visually and just everything about this does seem to be very high quality in terms of a racing game, because we've definitely seen some PS1 racing games that don't, have the same kind of quality.
Yeah.
Like, there are some that are worse that have even less tracks.
What was that? There was that Formula 1 racing game that we played in Racing Grand Prix where, like, you'd hit the wall and your Formula 1 race car would bounce and go backwards.
Rubber banding. It's a different kind of rubber banding.
Yeah, different kind of rubber band. No, it wasn't ATV Racers. It was a Formula 1 game. It was specifically Formula 1.
Yeah, I own ATV Racers. At least now I do. I saw it for like $5 and I had to make that purchase.
Fair. Yeah, Formula Nippon. That was the game I was thinking of.
I thought that was the SNES game, or was there another game?
Was it a SNES game? Oh, you might be right about Formula. Did Exuno bounce?
Exuno did bounce, yes. Fortunately for Exuno, the bounce didn't add any more time to the crash animation.
You don't often think of a body bouncing.
Ooh, but this seems to be like a really, really long course.
This
Look
is
at
a
all
really
those...
long course full of a lot of rough turns. You got 2 straightaways leading into a double hairpin, triple hairpin on the left, or at the north end of the map. Just look at that.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see that your time, which, like, if you were playing this not in time trial mode, gives you 100 seconds between checkpoints.
Oof. Yeah, this is definitely the kind of track that you go, oh god, what am I in for?
Yeah, and Exuno has been playing a little bit more conservatively with the boosts, so is trying to avoid crashing. I'm going to see how long a crash actually does take to recover from.
Exuno's doing a good job of hitting those little drift turns.
Yeah, okay, so it's about 2 seconds, maybe 3.
It's not terrible, but enough of those add up. They absolutely add up.
Yeah, especially if, like, you're moving at currently Palidian moving at about 150 miles per hour, you can cover a lot of ground in those 2 seconds. And if you're constantly crashing, that is a lot of time that you're losing when you could be moving forward.
Because you got to factor in acceleration time and all that other stuff as well. So it more or less costs you like 4 seconds to get hit.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, your acceleration, as some girl in the chat is pointing out, does seem to be very quick. So you can get back to that speed as fast as you. It's not a terrible loss, but still, losing 2 seconds of just stopping is rough for a game that is a racing game where you're just doing time trials. And really the only loss of time is your ability to complete the track as quickly as possible.
Palidian moving in for the final lap now.
And Exuno is about, I'm going to say, because I can't tell where the actual ending or starting point was for this.
It's in the middle of it's that top middle one in the trident.
So it is the top middle one? Okay. So is on the last checkpoint then.
Yeah. I don't know why I said top, even though it's far from it, and somehow you still assumed correctly which one
I knew what you
about.
meant. I knew what you meant. But yeah, is approaching that final checkpoint.
Palidian approaching their final checkpoint now as well. He's coming in. And based on my timer, Palidian is almost exactly 1 minute behind Exuno.
Yeah, I do believe that Palidian has been crashing a little bit more than Exuno. Palidian has been trying to go as fast as possible any second, which is unfortunately... Oh, there was a 3-colored umbrella for those people who still have PTSD from Advent Calendar Hunt.
We missed it? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is locked in my brain now forever. Thank you. Thank you, Pangera.
Yeah, the
Or no, maybe it was it was not an umbrella. That was a circus tent. Okay. Well, helicopter. There we go.
There we go. I was about to say. Leave one prop behind, get another. Watching Fur Turret play Nobody Saves the World the other day, and immediately got a chocolate bar. And I was like, oh.
I played a game called Time Loader, which had a chocolate bar, Christmas tree, ice skates, and there was some other like eggplant. Like I swear I saw like 6 or 7 props in the course of like an hour of me playing the game. Yeah, this track doesn't seem to be as bad. You have a lot more open space. This is the fun fair.
Only slightly worse than the funhouse. I mean, a fair gives you multiple houses to have fun in, but the funhouse gives you...
You know, it's more streamlined. It's more specifically, you know, they've been able to hone their craft.
Yeah. You go to the funhouse when you want something very specific, like the hype of blind racing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and most importantly, delete all of your browser history. Go outside. Ignore the internet forever. Delete Twitter.
I believe it's X now.
Yes, you're correct. It is X in my browser, as in X website that I used to visit. No, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I never used Twitter in the first place.
Yeah, Exuno is doing a very good job on this course. Really maintaining his speed while hitting a wall there. But for the most part, isn't losing too much time to crashes or anything like that. On the final lap, Palidian just starting second lap here. Yeah, because these narrow courses are really... Oh, there's a trick for Palidian. I do think, since the players are continuously doing these tricks, that there is some sort of speed boost or a benefit to doing them.
I mean, the benefit to doing them is the honk button. You press the button when there's a button to press. You just do it. You can't not do it. Oh, that's a big straightaway, and Exuno taking advantage of it. Exuno doing a good job of taking advantage of those straightaways. Palidian doing as well, but like you see drops a few times for the humps, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Exuno is playing a way to avoid as many crashes as possible. Like, Exuno is somehow bouncing off of these walls. Like, is somehow hitting them at an angle that doesn't cause him to get into that crash animation.
Game over.
Palidian has been playing a little bit better now, isn't crashing as much, but I think isn't taking as many boosts. Well, yeah, because Palidian seems to be crashing a lot more, somehow hitting angles that does allow him to crash, where Exuno is just avoiding those crash angles when they hit walls.
Oh, Exuno gets time lost by menu boss.
But we're down to the last 3 tracks for Exuno.
This is definitely going to be hard for Palidian to catch up now. Keep in mind, everybody, again, Palidian has roughly 3 minute and 25, or my timer was 3:28, Palidian's was 3:35. So
you could put like an approximation on the layout if you can. Just so people in chat who are joining don't see that this as a complete...
Do we have somewhere in the thing that I could do that? I guess I could change his name, right?
I think you could add it to his name, possibly, yeah.
Yeah! Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, we could scribble it with the Telecaster.
Oh, of course.
I think this looks a little bit neater, though. It is funny just to see just scribbled in like the line notes. And Palidian's controls are doing stuff again.
What's happening in the middle of the race? Why? Did Palidian accidentally hit the mode button on the controller again?
That has to be the case. But like, I don't know why it like messes with his other functions. Like, the mode button only affects the D-pad and joystick. Very odd.
Yeah, this is definitely. Oh,
Yeah, there's Exuno's body just hopping around.
lands on the outside of the track. Okay, it looks like Palidian has fixed the controls again.
The only other option I could think of is maybe his controller has like a weird like setting that switches from like D input to X input, and he keeps like hitting that.
I'm not the only one editing this page. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Zenik is having fun with the retime. Zenik can do the retime. I see that. I know. I understand why numbers were popping up the way that they were popping up. My hands are off the page, Zenik. Go ahead and type away. It's not you. Who's doing what to me?
Well, regardless, so this sand track is very interesting. I believe it's a sea of sand. I'm guessing the sand has kind of the same traction as some of the dirt tracks that we've had, but it has these very wide areas mixed in with these very slow straightaways.
Now it looks like
And
these harder dirt tracks have more traction than the soft sand does.
And it's interesting on like the little mini map that you have.
What did you dodge the job there?
Yeah, I don't know what Exuno is doing to dodge these crashes. It's actually incredible. Like the amount of times I've seen him hit a wall and he just bounces off of it, where the times I've seen Palidian just graze past a wall and just
right
immediately bails. Yeah. Like the motorcycle gods are watching over Exuno right now.
Flipping Palidian's controls, crashing Palidian, sparing Exuno's life.
Like that's the kind of like subtle mastery that you need to take an edge in these racing games. So down to the last two tracks for Exuno. It's a 3-lap and a 2-lap. And then we have a second timer now.
This is the time between when Exuno finished that course between when Palidian will finish it. I should have put the negative on it. Here, I can actually edit that split. I'll do negative 4:08. Okay. And then we're going to instead change the time to when Exuno starts this track. Oh. Okay.
Okay, so we're in Red City. Obviously, this is made after Seattle, as you can tell by the Seattle Bridge.
Good old Gallopin' Gertie. Oh, how fun it would be to ride a motorcycle across that. This is a lot of straightaways, a lot of moving.
Yeah, this is definitely a course where you need to capitalize on your boosts, because these turns don't seem to be too terrible. And again, Exuno hitting a wall and not crashing. There must be something with, as someone stated in chat, that Exuno might be braking, which maybe you only crash if your like speed value is accelerating.
Might be, yeah, because.
And if you're decelerating, it won't crash you.
That is interesting if that's the case. We'll definitely have to grill Exuno on that. I mean, we can watch the inputs display. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah, we can see the little light throttle on the brakes there. No, there was no braking involved with that one. Must just be hitting the correct angles. I don't know.
Yeah, it's honestly just incredible to watch.
You got that mild fear that somehow the core... No, I mean, I know it's not. I know it's not. The core didn't change too dramatically between... Or wouldn't have changed in such a way that would affect this between the BizHawk versions, right? Like...
No, but like the only setting that would be in the game is that they both played easy. Turned crash off in the menu. Thank you, Interdirigible. Yeah, you know, that crash setting. It's like, car doesn't crash. Yeah, like, Exuno was driving really fast into that wall. Because the only setting that could possibly change is if Palidian accidentally selected medium as opposed to easy. But I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Quick, somebody to the VOD!
Okay, Palidian bounced off of that wall, so... Very... It's such an interesting, like, tech thing that, like, you wouldn't expect to see. And it honestly is one of the most deciding factor, not the most, but it is a deciding factor in this race so far.
Yeah, I don't know what Exuno is doing that is so incredibly strong at blocking these, but Exuno is doing something. You're seeing the inputs pop up. There you can see kind of Palidian was going straight on it. And I see that Palidian was actually turboing at that moment, so that was definitely a part of the influence.
Select your race. Select your race. Transmission.
All right, so
And then,
remember this behind timer is when Palidian hits go on the red gate bridge. -4. Because it didn't reset for some reason.
Yeah, but this is the last track for Exuno. It's only 2 laps.
But oh, what a big 2 laps it is.
Yeah, it might be, as Roar, you said, and Interdirigible possibly corroborating, that you only crash if you're turboing.
Sort of thinking that Palidian might be a little bit too antsy on the turbo here.
Mm-hmm. And there might be just some, like, after effects for the turbo, like, if after you press it, and, like, in that window, if you've pressed this button and you hit a wall, you will crash.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a window between, somewhere between letting go of the turbo and the bike dropping to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Exuno was in the air. I think if you're in the air and you hit the wall at a bad angle, you're just going to crash no matter what.
Right there, Palidian had let go of the boost. The bike was on its way down, but the front wheel was still off the ground. So, it may very well be, are both wheels on the ground. And within a specific angle. I still think that you can crash with both wheels on the ground at a bad angle, but, like, for the most part...
Mm-hmm. But yeah, outside of that, Exuno has been very good at not turboing then into the walls. And been very good at not having those crashes, since Palidian is just... I think Palidian's just been playing from behind after having those kind of weird controller issues. Just feels like is behind and is trying to make up all that time, which is in fact hurting him in the long run. This
is an unfortunate case of always make sure that you check your controls, double check your controls, set stuff, and there's a certain level of knowing stuff. I mean, we're going to give you as much time as we can to fix the controls. We're going to do it. We're not brutal, but, like, unfortunately, if you don't have those kind of things fixed ahead of time, you might run into some issues with that kind of tilting you. I wouldn't be surprised if Palidian was tilted right now.
And it's looking like even with the retime, Palladian's going to be behind by about 2.5 minutes, according to your timer.
Yeah, so Palidian is roughly 2:36 behind. That's bad.
Yeah, that's a lot of crashes and just a lot of just not taking turns as nicely as Exuno. And there is Exuno finishing up last lap.
And Exuno has finished in second place with a time of 41:01. Boop, 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 boop.
Game over.
Yeah, and I don't see Palidian being able to pull this back.
Yeah, so that makes Palladian's time needs to be 41:01 plus 4:08 is
Basically 45 minutes.
45:10 roughly. We'll say 45:10.
And I don't see Palladian finishing both of those tracks in that time. Especially seeing how the best lap for this course is 55 seconds.
Oof. Yeah, and the finishes are coming in.
Especially seeing how the best lap for this course is 55
Hi, Exuno. We can hear your audio. Oops.
seconds.
Oof.
And we're going to watch Palladian because, you know, maybe Palladian finds the secret wrong warp. Finds the shortcut. That's able to save him time. You know, it's not out of the realm of a possibility.
Yeah, just gotta hop on the.
Oh, Exuno, you are most likely winning this.
You're actually currently you're currently much better off than you think you are. I'm trying to get some audio here. It's just really quiet on Palladian's side. Now let's get the rainwave going. Apparently we got birds.
Birds are good.
Yeah, we got Palladian rounding around the last lap here. Still has quite a bit of time to go. Oh, yeah, nope. That basically confirms it. That has to have confirmed the hypothesis.
You only crash when you're turboing. And then the slight respite of the motorcycle coming back to the ground after turboing.
Yeah, so it appears that if you have both wheels on the ground, you do not crash. Which means that Palladian's, we were basically, Exuno, the entire time we were playing, we were wondering, you were racing, we were wondering why you were not crashing a lot when you, by all rights, should have, and Palladian was crashing a ton. And we finally came to the idea that if both wheels are on the ground, you're safe. We're coming into Palladian's last minute as he starts the last round. Unfortunately, this has been unfortunate through and through.
Yeah, with the loading time has 20 seconds to finish this 2 laps.
And immediately crashes. I honestly wonder if I wonder if Palladian's control issues led to him panicking with the turbo more and is leading to these crashes, or Palladian just doesn't realize how to avoid crashes as much.
Yeah, because looking there, Palladian just tried to turbo right off of a corner and then just hits the corner and immediately crashes.
I don't think he even tried to turbo. I think just hit the corner after coming over a hump, so the front wheel wasn't on the ground.
Regardless, it's identifying that specific mechanic in this game, which I think is the real reason why Exuno is taking the win, and Palidian is unfortunately going to take the loss here.
Yeah, Exuno came second in a race of 6, so like really good time overall.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, our races are open to the public, so anybody can join them. And Exuno did a fantastic job. Let's get Exuno in here. Welcome, Exuno.
Were you waiting there the whole time?
Hello. No, I just joined. I was waiting for the race to formally be decided or whatever before I actually hopped in.
Unfortunately, Zenik has taken over as the moderator at this match, so it is officially Zenik's call. But for the most part, based on what my raid times and the times of testing and all the other things that we did compiled, it looks like you have won the race.
Yeah, I was really concerned because I had some bad crashes early on, and then I was like, I'm still gonna hit turbo a lot, and then I crashed more.
Yeah, Palidian also had those same issues in that first track, and then just kind of continuously had some of those like issues of hitting turns, but like turboing at the wrong time. But yeah, just how does this game control?
This game controls pretty well. I don't play a ton of racing games, so it's not something where I have like a ton of comparison points. It's not like the best I've ever controlled. Obviously, it's a D-pad controlled racing game, which is always a little bit of a struggle because you don't have the analog support to like really make the turns you want to, but the fact that you're on a bike and your hitbox is much narrower, and that you have sort of this degree of being able to really feather either the turbo or brake to change your angles helps a lot.
Yeah, so as we were watching you play, like we noticed you were hitting the wall a lot, and you weren't crashing when you were hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Did you have were consciously figuring out like, is this like when you're making those turns and you're hitting the wall and not crashing, was that a conscious like decision not to turbo, or were you realizing what was happening and trying to like repeat that throughout the entire race?
Usually, yeah. I mean, I know that my racing game skills are not the highest. I am not very good at avoiding the walls, and I was glad that this game didn't seem to punish me. I was always on the speed counter, and it felt like it was kind of a lie. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, or if like the visuals are a lie. It's really hard to measure how much time you're, gaining or losing every time you bump a wall and lose like a third of your speed for just a couple of seconds, or obviously when you take a crash and you're just not moving at all for like 10 seconds, it feels real bad, but everything else is pretty minor.
Unfortunately, Palidian explaining that during the long loading screens was chatting during the long loading screens and hit D, which is the default analog mode switch.
Yeah, I did test that at one point after Zenik brought it up to make sure that was the issue. I think at the start of one of the races in like Red City or whatever, you might have seen me change the camera a couple of times because I was like, if I hit mode, does that break my controls? Is that actually the issue? Is there something deeper going on here that's kind of screwing Palidian over? But yeah, the game itself was really fun. I really like this as a mystery tournament race too. A lot of racing games, it's sort of a challenge. They have a lot of struggles because obviously, as you can see, even in a game like this, the times end up really close. There end up being things like the menuing. Was Palidian canceling out of the races as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that's one of the things that can add up to, like 30 or 40 seconds. And in a racing game, that's going to be the entire difference between times. So you have to get all of these. There was like 2 times where I selected the same track again, and I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't matter in the results.
Yeah, we were commenting on the possible, menu boss problem, because we've seen that happen absolutely in, I want to say the most example of that was when in Initial D, when one of the players was having a significant amount of issues with the menuing in between.
Yeah, especially was that the like Japanese PSP game where like you had to follow the entry for which
Yeah, where you had to make
menus you
sure
were
that
getting
things were
to.
on at night and whether it was everything.
and like oh you're selecting the right car and the right gear, but you can't even read which ones they are. So
yeah,
it becomes a struggle there. Thankfully, this was really nice. I appreciated the other thing about this game is that the courses do have a really good variety, both in like the texture and the turns and what kinds of maneuvers you can really do in them. Some of them you could take a lot more generously. Some of them are much narrower.
Yeah, we were wondering, based off of like some of these tracks, that like they all had different, essentially grounds.
Yeah,
and so they all did actually affect your turning.
Mm-hmm. It did affect your turning at least a little bit. It definitely affected your max speed, which affects your overall control. Things like ramps and stuff being in the air affects how much control you have a lot, and that gives you a variety in terms of a lot of racing games I've played in a race. It's sort of, I'm just doing the same sort of thing for this entire 40 minutes, and if I'm good at it in one area, there's no like chance for me to be better or worse on a different track that's has all of the same sorts of turns and things.
we have Palidian joining us now. Hello, Palidian.
Hey.
So,
How's it going?
the two questions that I have in regards to how the performance ended up happening. Did you realize that the reason you were crashing so much was because you were turboing a lot? And were you turboing a lot because of the controller issues, some level of tilting and trying to feel like you needed to catch up, or what was going on with that?
I was turboing a lot because I am in a snug little tent with a space heater, and I was pressing the blanket was touching the R button.
Oh no!
Really?
Really?
Oh man, outside interference.
That's rough.
The last answer I expected from this. I was entirely expecting. Oh yeah, I have to have control issues. I was tilted I was trying to get through this, and no.
Your warmth was against you, Palidian.
Oh my
I
god.
don't care. I'm cozy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds nice.
Well, it sounds like at least you're sound like you're in a little bit better humor. Do you want to the loading screens are actually what did you in then with the timer, huh?
Yeah, I got bored on the loading screen, so I was chatting with somebody, and every time I pressed the D, if it was an even number of times, I was fine. If it was an odd number of times, everything stopped working.
Ouch. Oh,
So.
That's a lesson to you all out in chat. Make sure you press your D at least twice.
Thank you, Trample.
I'm so sorry that outside interference may have cost you this race, but that's unfortunately sometimes how it goes with Mystery.
That's okay. I got to play one good game this mystery tournament, and that's one more than usual, so
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So yeah, you said that this one was a little bit bland. Actually, Exuno was kind of expressing a little bit of the opposite, that it did a pretty decent job of being a decent racer. How did you feel about it overall then?
I thought it was okay. Like, most of the tracks I didn't think were very interesting, because you couldn't go very fast, except for Fun Fair and Red City or whatever. I don't know. I liked those two, because you got to, like, open up the throttle, feel like you were going pretty fast.
So-
I also found it pretty amusing that you could do, like, a Superman straight into a wall and not wipe out, but you hit, like, blade of grass with your foot going 50 miles an hour. And you're just like on your ass.
Yeah, that's definitely. I was kind of exploiting the fact that the game's really generous if you're not pressing the turbo button to make some turns where I'm like, I will never make this turn cleanly, so if I just hit the wall and then get the right angle and don't lose time, then I could just turbo back up on the next straightaway.
We were legitimately
up helping
wondering
a lot.
what the hell Exuno was doing that was so immune to crashing there. Like,
What's it called? Yeah, I also don't even know how much the turbo really helped, because when you look at it, you on the fast tracks that are like road, you're going from like 175 to like 178 while you're turboing. The camera feels like it's moving so much faster, but I don't know if it's really making a difference in how fast you're getting through the track.
I was going to say that going 180 miles an hour did not feel like going 180 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Pretty much felt the same.
But guys, it ran at 60 FPS for a PlayStation game.
Yeah, I would like to defend that I did not call this game not bland. It is extremely bland. I just said that it's good for a race because of the way the mechanics work together. The fact that you can turbo to kind of exploit, turns a little bit better, and really there's a button to actively be pressing to make it more risky, but also gain a little bit of time, which is something that's harder to do in a racing game.
And one last question before we go. Exuno, does the sequence up, left, right, down, circle R2, triangle X cause you anxiety now?
No, I don't know why it took so long to work, whether you have to do it like specifically the first time the game boots without pressing anything else, but I don't know, it was weird how it just worked eventually.
Well, thank you so much.
Good race.
Yeah, good race. Good luck in the rest.
Yep, thank you so much. Unfortunately, Palidian, this is it for you this year. We'll be seeing you back next year.
I always say no, but I always end up getting roped into it anyway. So see you next time.
See you next time. And good luck with your next match, Exuno.
I believe you'll be playing Cyro Hydra.
Oh, it's an infighting.
That'll be an exciting match. I'm feeling pretty confident about my chances, but Cyro surprised me before. Hopefully that'll happen sometime this week.
Well, speaking of happening this week, we have coming up in the future, in 2 days, we have Greeble versus Nico Jazz. We have Tetsuya versus Saiho. And we also have Rotate versus Lexi. And coming in the back half, the 19th, we have So Much Fab versus Piper. So it looks like we have a little bit of a break tomorrow, but as you may know, here on Mystery Funhouse, not all of our matches are scheduled in advance. They are able to be picked up randomly, and we will try to catch them if we can. Unfortunately, that'll be it for me for streaming for the week. I am out on vacation. Everybody, I love you so much. We'll see you next time here on Mystery Funhouse. Thank you so much, Shrambles, for joining me on commentary.
Yeah, thank you for restreaming. We do have some vodcasts that we will eventually show on the stream. So get ready to see some of those. We'll probably use those for filler between some of these matches on Wednesday. But outside of that, thank you for restreaming Roar. Thank you, chat, for being there. And thank you to all the racers who were here making our content.
All right. Good night, everybody. Oh, wait, is there somebody to rate? I wanted to be more active about rating people, but I just don't know. I don't have
Look, we're all probably going to just watch GDQ anyway, so let's just rate GDQ.
Well, let's go rate GDQ. Let's show them that Mystery Funhouse still loves them. Flash rate games done quick. Go rate. Go subscribe so you can post a raid message. Bye-bye now.